MeMonster.
Chapter 331. I observed the situation from the watchtower. Boss and Shimurin were eating snacks from a street stall, while Yi Yanjun wandered nearby. The most important thing was to avoid causing a commotion. I found Yi Yanjun. What? Really? Aileen's surprised voice rang out from the crystal ball. Yes, but we need to act reserved. For now, I'll just keep an eye on him. I would never let Yi Yanjun meet Boss. At least, not until I killed him. The plaza is filled with tons of people right now. Can you keep tracking him, Hajin? Don't worry about that. I answered and slowly released my spirit power. With my stats fully recovered, my ability to wield spirit power had returned. I should be able to use miracle creation, the ability engraved into my spirit power as the original author. Observer. Summary. Summons a small bird to monitor a target. Activation condition. User must call the observer directly. Consumption value. 1% of Kim Hajin's spirit power per 24 hours. Effect. The observer can conceal itself while watching its target. It also shares what it sees with Kim Hajin. I created a miracle with my spirit power. Since I didn't have Spartan with me, I needed something to replace it. Observer. The moment I called its name, spirit power leaked out of my body. The minuscule amount of spirit power formed a small bird which smiled at me. Coo! The cute fuzzball resembled a Korean crow tit. I strengthened it with random consolidation system and set its target to Yi Yanjun. Fly! Coo! The observer left my hands and flew into the sky. I closed my eyes and shared the observer's vision. It began to track Yi Yanjun. It's all good now. I don't know what that means, but fine. Just to be sure, Yi Yanjun really is alive. Aileen's high-pitched voice rang out from the crystal ball. I replied with a bitter smile. Yes, he is. You don't believe me? I believe you, of course. It's just that... Fine. No, I ordered a chicken kebab. No, not spicy. The communication cut off in the middle. It seemed Aileen was busy eating street food as well. I let out a chuckle and went back to observing Yi Yanjun. However, my face went stiff when I saw what happened next. Boss was staring in a daze with a kebab in her hand. She was looking at a spot 500 meters away where Yi Yanjun was standing. Yi Yanjun had his back toward her. With the gray robe covering him, Boss shouldn't be able to recognize him. I quickly took out the crystal ball connected to Boss. Boss? I called her. Boss flinched for a second, then took out a crystal ball from her pocket. Boss, where are you right now? Me? Boss took a look around and continued. In front of a street vendor. And you haven't spotted anything strange? No, nothing. What about you? Are things going well? Yes, of course. I continued to drag out the conversation until Yi Yanjun grew farther away from Boss. Thankfully, Yi Yanjun didn't see Boss as he left for somewhere else. I let out a sigh of relief. Boss. I think you should go home for today. I think Aileen is near you. Also, contact Jane for me. I heard that Jane was now a general for the Arnheim Kingdom. Sure, what do you need? Boss answered, but her complexion seemed dark. The gray-robed figure she saw must be bothering her. Ask her when she'll arrive at the Republic. You should go back home for now. Boss hesitated for a moment and looked around her surroundings. But Yi Yanjun had already disappeared, and Boss had no choice but to agree. Got it. Sword Commander's office. At the same hour, Kim Soo-ho was in a meeting with Yu Yanha about Ball. We've recovered our strengths for the most part, but Ball's strength is on a level of its own, Yu Yanha said seriously. There's no way for us to confirm stories about Ball, but according to Jinsei Hook, he destroyed the world he descended upon in just 4 days. Yeah. Kim Soo-ho nodded. An evil god capable of destroying the world in just 4 days was shocking, but that didn't mean he could sit around and do nothing. If Ball wasn't stopped here, he would undoubtedly descend on Earth. So, after hearing about this, I started looking into items used in history for exorcisms. I figured we would need these powerful artifacts to combat such a powerful foe. Yu Yanha took out a catalog from her desk. Listed in the book were ancient artifacts used for exorcisms that she found through her merchant group's connections. Kim Soo-ho glanced at the catalog, which showed pictures of a sword, bow, spear, talisman, fan, and others. Contact the president's daughter and ask her if she can find any of these. Serency, you mean? Yeah. I'd buy them myself if I could, but they're too expensive. We'll need assets on the level of a nation to acquire them. I'll try to ask her. Hearing this, Yu Yanha scowled. Don't just try. We need these items. There's only 1 week left. Yu Yanha was more serious than ever, and Kim Soo-ho knew he shouldn't be indecisive. Okay, I'll ask her even if I have to risk my position. Perfect. It was then, just as the duo were discussing their plans, someone knocked on the door. Speaking of the devil, Serene's voice rang out from the other side of the door. Sword Commander, it's me, Serene. Kim Soo-ho and Yu Yanha stared at each other in bewilderment. Then they both grinned and nodded. Come in, Lady Serene. I've wanted to see you so much. Aye, if it's not Lady Serene, the future of our republic. Eh? The duo warmly welcomed the guest into the office. Late night, I returned to Shimuren's workshop after a long day's work. Boss and Shimuren were waiting for me at the kitchen table. You're late. Boss spoke first, then Shimuren slammed her fist down on the table. Right, you're too late. We almost died of hunger waiting. Why didn't you eat? What? Shimuren's face twisted in annoyance. This is your fault because you're too good at cooking. Everything else tastes horrible, so... All right, I'll make you something. I chuckled and walked to the kitchen. Shimuren smiled in satisfaction, and Boss's shoulders relaxed as well. Today's meal was spicy rice cakes, dumplings, and tempura. After I finished cooking in 15 minutes, Shimuren put a third of it on a plate and went downstairs. She clearly wanted to continue her magical research while eating. Poke, poke, poke. Boss sat at the kitchen table and ate spicy rice cakes with chopsticks. I sat down next to her. When I stared at her, she began to look at me strangely. Her chopsticks slowed, and her munching turned into tiny nibbles. Eventually, she couldn't hold back her curiosity and asked, Do you have something to say? Something to say? Yeah, I do have something to say. I wanted to ask what she would do if she found out that Yi Yanjun, the man she trusted the most, was someone who messed with her life. Boss. And I wanted to know what she would think if I killed that man. Boss. It's just an if, but I tried to be indirect.
What would you do if the person you trust the most disappointed you? This question was meant to have two meanings. One was Boss finding out about the real Yi Yun-jun. The other was her finding out that I betrayed her by killing him. Disappoint? Boss's expression turned cold. Seemingly having lost her appetite, she put down her chopsticks and stared at me. I don't think you will ever disappoint me. Oh, so I'm the person you trust the most? Boss's frozen expression softened. She coughed in embarrassment and changed the subject. Did something happen? Why are you asking me that? No reason. I thought carefully about what to do. If I told Boss the truth about Yi Yun-jun, she would probably try to kill him herself. And if she did, she might be struck with sadness, regret, and anger. I was just curious. This was my duty anyway. Telling Boss the truth could wait until I killed Yi Yun-jun. I asked because I like you. That's the sincere truth. Crack! At that moment, the chopsticks in Boss's hand snapped in half. She stared at me, her hands shaking as she held the broken chopsticks. Her eyes widened like a cartoon character. What are you saying? It's obvious that a subordinate should like his boss. I'm leaving. She got up in a fluster and hurried away to her room, leaving behind the food she liked on the table. Transnational Peace Conference minus 5 days. 5 days remained until the Transnational Peace Conference. In a magic practice area inside the Secret Service Institute, Hajin was teaching us how to hunt a devil. I am from a clan of exorcists. Hajin released her magic power to demonstrate exorcism. Her magic power bloomed with a clear red hue. This color represented the exorcist's power that critically wounded evil beings. As I explained before, a clan is determined by bloodline. When members of our clan hunt devils, we mix our magic power with our blood. Follow after me. We took out blood packs that Hajin made with the help of Yu Yan Ya. Borrowing the power of exorcism was surprisingly simple. We just had to imbue our magic power into the blood pack and let the two mix. Kim Harak and Yi Young Han had trouble with this process, but Yoon Sung Ah and Rachel and Aileen easily accomplished it. My magic power will mix with this blood and become an exorcising magic power. Aileen just had to say a single sentence. It was the same for me, as I just had to command Stigma's magic power. It was then, blood of the Devil Hunter clan partially assimilates to you. Your authority, Devil Hunter, becomes stronger. Partial devilization, Devil Arm becomes stronger. An incredible luck erupts. By absorbing the power of an exorcist's blood, you received a part of their genes. You obtained a new gift, true exorcism. An auspicious event may happen with an astronomically low chance. A series of system alerts popped up in front of me. I blinked and stared at the windows. While I was standing in a daze, Aileen talked to Hajin. By the way, don't we have to tell Kim Soo-ho about this? Oh, I will go to Sword Commander and teach him later. Ah, okay. The next. Chuck! Hajin clapped her hands. The loud noise woke me up, and I turned my attention to her. Let's start learning exorcism. But Hajin's words didn't enter my head. For some reason, I felt like I obtained a huge hint. Hajin's blood and Stigma's magic power that assimilated with it. My authority, Devil Hunter, which was strengthened as a result. Yurinchi. As I called Hajin, the crystal ball in my pocket suddenly vibrated. Please turn off your crystal ball during lessons. Hajin glared at me. Sorry. I took out the crystal ball with a wry smile. It was the one I received from Jin Sa-yuk when I went to Arnheim. Hold on a minute. I left the area and picked up the call. What do you want? When I whispered, Jin Sa-yuk said something strange. It's important. There are things we need to settle and things we need to confirm. So come meet me at 1 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late and don't even think about not showing up. Took! Jin Sa-yuk hung up without even waiting for my reply. I furrowed my brows and glared at the crystal ball. Hajin-shi, what are you doing? Hajin, you're the one who said we didn't have much time. Rachel and Yoon-sam-ah voiced their complaints. I'm sorry. I had something to take care of. I scratched my head and ran back to them. Chapter 332. My blood reacts when it is exposed to demonic energy. I guess you could say it boils. Inside the Secret Service Institute's training room, constructed by Shimurine with Serene's funding, I listened to Hyorine's explanation. When my blood mixes with magic power, it transforms into a new power. My clan calls it exorcism. It's incredibly effective against demons, but it can't be used at all against those who aren't. As I listened, I glanced at the gift I'd obtained by chance. True exorcism. Blood of an exorcist increases all variable stats by 1 to 100% when facing demonic beings. The stat increase is proportional to the power of the demonic being. Strengthens partial devilization. Exorcism connects with your authority, Devil Hunter, and greatly ignores the demonic energy of demons. Kwang! As I was reading through the gift's description, the training room door burst open. Yun Sung-ah and Aileen barged in, both fuming for some reason.
Hajin and I stared at them in confusion. How annoying! Sung-ah, are we supposed to just let them ignore us like this? People just aren't friendly to new faces. Aileen stomped the ground as she entered, while Yun Sung-ah only sighed. Those weak idiots? Urgh! Aileen looked like a ready to explode, raising her hands in frustration. Seeing her like this, I asked quietly, "Did something happen?" "Huh? Oh, you guys are still here." Aileen quickly calmed down. She scratched the back of her head in embarrassment, then put her hand on her hip and stared at us, clearly ready to vent. "Listen, we went to the upper-ups because we had things to do, but the employees there didn't answer any of our questions and just ignored us. When we gave up and turned to leave, they openly talked behind our backs about how we got in through connections and whatnot." My blood pressure. I'm too old for this. Pfft. A chuckle escaped me. It felt strange to hear Aileen say that given her high school girl-like appearance. "Did you just laugh?" Aileen shot me a death glare. "No, I didn't." Talk, talk. A knock at the door saved me from the awkward moment. We all turned to look, and Aileen opened the door before I could say anything. "Hello." "Oh, Aileen she." "Ah, who are you guys?" Standing outside were Essence of the Straits Kim Young-jin, Yohei, Shen-jun, Yi Jin-ah, and others who had entered the Demon Realm Gate. Ooh, familiar faces. It seemed they had joined the Secret Service as new members. Aileen, spotting new toys, greeted them with a bright smile. "Welcome, my juniors." 1 a.m. The stars illuminated the dense darkness of the sky. Kim Hajin walked alone into the Republic's nameless forest. Jin Sa-hyuk had chosen this secluded place, but it actually seemed to be a walking trail, with long benches scattered throughout. Kim Hajin sat on a bench and looked up. The full moon radiated a cold light, surrounded by stars as if to protect it. He couldn't help but gaze at the beautiful scene. He sat there, lost in the calm scenery. After about 10 minutes, "I thought you'd be late." A voice rang out from the darkness. Kim Hajin turned his head. Jin Sa-hyuk was trudging out of the shadows, her long hair tied in a ponytail, confidence radiating from her as always. Kim Hajin asked, his expression unchanged, "Why did you ask me to come?" Jin Sa-hyuk stopped in front of the bench, naturally looking down at him. "There's something I need to ask one last time." "Last?" The word made Kim Hajin raise his eyebrow. "That's right. This is the last time I'll see your ugly face." Jin Sa-hyuk replied nonchalantly and sat down beside him. Whom?" Despite her imposing attitude, Jin Sa-hyuk found herself at a loss for words. She didn't know how to start. As a king, she had always been straightforward. That hadn't changed. "It's about Kinspring." Pfft. Kim Hajin smirked at her abruptness. Jin Sa-hyuk stole a glance at him and continued. "What is your relationship with Kinspring?" "I don't know either." "What?" Kim Hajin didn't want to talk about Kim Chun-dong. Explaining everything would mean admitting this world was a novel he wrote, but to him, this world was real. He chuckled and turned to Jin Sa-hyuk. "I don't know the details. I came here from another world, just like you. Kim Chun-dong went to your world and became Kinspring. That's it." Jin Sa-hyuk met his gaze with a stern expression. "I already know everything, so don't try to hide it. Belle looked into your memories. I wouldn't tell you even if I knew." "What did you say, you bastard?" Jin Sa-hyuk frowned. Kim Hajin just shrugged. "I won't tell you. No matter what." "I see." With no other choice, Jin Sa-hyuk sighed. She stood up and shot him a look. "I called you here for nothing then." "That was it?" "Yeah, you piece of shit." Disappointed, Jin Sa-hyuk turned to leave but suddenly grew angry and spun back. "Oi, we won't meet again after this, so wanna fight me one last time?" "Fight?" Jin Sa-hyuk challenged him, and Kim Hajin stood up without hesitation. Jin Sa-hyuk flinched, surprised he accepted so easily. Did he have a lot of pent-up stress? What? You're down? Fine, come at me." Unlike Jin Sa-hyuk, who brandished her arms and legs, Kim Hajin simply raised his hand and, "Tuck," gently placed it on her shoulder. "Why would we? We're friends now, aren't we?" Jin Sa-hyuk felt warmth and sincerity in his smile. For a moment, her mind went blank. She blinked, dazed as if struck by a hammer. "I'm leaving then. See you again." Kim Hajin didn't give her time to recover, walking past her like the wind. Jin Sa-hyuk stood frozen, waiting until his footsteps faded.
The word friend shocked her. She had never heard it before. She never even considered having a friend. After all, a king didn't have friends. Shh! Hoo! At that moment, magic power condensed on the bench where Kim Hajin had sat. The energy swirled and formed a human shape. Jin Sahyak knew who it was. You came to like him. The figure's voice snapped her out of her daze. Shut your mouth, you damned. What? Didn't you say you were going to bring him to Akatrina? You just let him go. I told you how to switch Kim Hajin with Kinspring. Jin Sahyak was left speechless by Belle's words. She had planned to bring Kim Hajin to Akatrina, even if she had to force him. That was until she heard the word friend. Jin Sahyak scratched her head, searching for an excuse. He made me remember the past. Of all her memories with Kim Hajin, she recalled the recorded past, where her younger self, Prehi, interacted with him. In the recorded past, Prehi and Kim Hajin were close. Prehi learned from him, relied on him, and even declared she would one day become like him.
There was no problem calling Prehi and Kim Hajin friends. If I'd met someone like Kim Hajin when I was young, Jin Sahyak pondered. Well, I don't care either way. I just don't want you to be lonely, and you're going to be lonely without me, Belle added playfully. Jin Sahyak glared at him. I don't need to. Shut the hell up. Belle smiled brightly and turned into a wisp of magic power. I'll go on ahead. Don't be late. I'm not going back today, retard. Shoo. Belle flew away with the wind. Left alone, Jin Sahyak sat on the bench and looked up at the night sky. The same sky Kim Hajin had just admired filled her vision. The lone full moon shone in the darkness, but it didn't look lonely with all the stars around it. I'm used to being alone, Jin Sahyak muttered as she gazed at the sky. Her words disappeared into the cold air, reaching neither Belle nor Kim Hajin. Transnational Peace Conference D1. One day before the Transnational Peace Conference, 11:40 p.m. Everyone from the Secret Service made their way to Lioris Plaza. Citizens from all over the world had gathered to watch the opening ceremony. We began surveying the area for potential threats. I don't see anyone suspicious, but stay on your toes. I looked down from the plaza from the watchtower and communicated with the rest of the Secret Service. Got it. Okay, tell us if anything happens. Members answered from all across the plaza, senses heightened for any surge of demonic energy. Then, tap, tap, the sound of footsteps echoed from the staircase. I set down the crystal ball in my hand and turned. A familiar voice. The unexpected guest was Yu Yonhei. Here you are. Yu Yonhei looked around the watchtower, arms crossed. I could tell the dusty junk in the corner bothered her. What are you doing here, Miss CEO? Aren't you busy running your business? She furrowed her brows and walked closer. It'll be the day of the Transnational Peace Conference in less than 20 minutes. Oh, I'm sure you know this already, but the Transnational Peace Conference is a 2-week event. The first 10 days are like a festival, and the real conference is on the last 4 days. Unfortunately, we don't know when Belle will descend. He'll try to descend on the last day, if possible. I answered with certainty. From what Jin Sahyak told me, Belle would wait until the end to make his move. I see. I trust you. Yu Yonhei nodded, not asking more. The amount of trust she had in me was hard to accept. I smiled, trying to appear cool, and asked, Did you finish your preparations? Yes, I gave each member of the Secret Service an exorcism weapon. We'll have to wait to see how effective they are. Oh, right, this is yours. She held up a long wooden case. What's that? A bow. We couldn't buy it even with the Republic's treasury, so we stole it. You stole it? For a second, I doubted my ears. Open it. I tilted my head and opened the case. Keek! Inside was a wooden bow that looked completely ordinary. How is it? I couldn't answer. Whoa! A gasp escaped me.
Until now, I never imagined there could be a bow surpassing the Black Lotus bow, the result of fusing Temujin's bow and Horus's bow. Ancient hero Leoracus's exorcism bow, pinnacle-grade, legendary artifact. The bow used by hero Leoracus to combat devils contains several legacies of Leoracus's exorcism power. But now, I had a legendary pinnacle-grade bow. Leoracus must have been as famous as Isun Shin in Korea. It's amazing! Hearing my dazed murmur, Yu Yonhei smiled faintly. But you have to return safely and give it back, okay? There's a fake replica in the museum now. Huh. I don't know if I can return this. If I fuse this bow with the Black Lotus bow, who knows what'll happen? Sure, I'll return it safely. But I nodded anyway.
It was then. The Transnational Peace Conference starts now! Midnight struck, and fireworks exploded with a loud announcement. Both Yu Yanha and I turned to the fireworks. But I couldn't focus on the scene, as a series of messages popped up in front of me. The final episode, Daybreak, begins. You are now only a single step away from the end. Remember, you have the right to ask me a question or request something from me. I closed my eyes, listening to the fireworks and the cheering crowd. Suddenly, my heart turned cold, and a thought surfaced. No matter how this episode ends, I sent a message to the co-author. Let's butt heads once everything's over. But Yu Yanha thought I was talking to her and tilted her head. Huh? Butt our heads? It's nothing. I laughed, and Yu Yanha pouted like a child. Then, to my surprise, the co-author messaged back. Understood. Whether Ball dies or you die, once this episode is over, I will invite you. Then I wish you the best of luck. Now I had another reason I absolutely had to win. Chapter 333. Chae Na-yoon and Shin Jong-hak arrived at the Republic to attend the Transnational Peace Conference. They traveled by carriage. For the next 2 weeks, they would stay at the mansion of the well-known billionaire, Lauren. He had formally invited them, as Shin Jong-hak came from the respectable Prighton family. The grand mansion was located in the capital city of Leoris, where land prices were extremely high. It's pretty big. I'd say it's about the size of my room. Chae Na-yoon's assessment was rather blunt. Having grown up in Cheju Chal's Hanok, she found this mansion unimpressive. Nothing really stands out. Her gaze wandered across the room and landed on Shin Jong-hak. Dude, what are you doing? I'm looking at the list of guests. What's that? There are other people staying in this mansion besides us. Irun, Draven. Apparently they're all famous nobles in the kingdom. I figured I should at least memorize their names. Oh, I see. Chae Na-yoon didn't care much about networking, so she stepped out onto the balcony. Her whole body ached, likely from being in a carriage all day. She leaned against the balustrade and gazed into the distance, taking in the view of the street below. The scenery, a blend of past and present, appeared mysterious. As she watched the busy street, an upside-down face of a woman suddenly appeared in front of her. She stared at the face for 1, 2, 3 seconds. Fuck! Chae Na-yoon yelled in surprise, fell backward, and rolled into the room. Damn it, you asshole, why'd you do that for? Chae Na-yoon charged at Jin Sa-yak like an angry bull, but Jin Sa-yak stopped her with chains of magic power. These chains again? Shh, I need to tell you something, so listen up. You too, Shin Jong-hak. Jin Sa-yak's voice sounded somewhat forlorn. The Republic of Leoris, the first day of the Transnational Peace Conference. Late night. I had fallen asleep on the watchtower, but suddenly woke up. Are you watching me? A voice flowed into my ears. At first, I thought Chae Na-yoon was trying to reach me. Answer if you're watching me. But this voice was undoubtedly a man's,
full of animosity and murderous intent. "Some nerve you have to follow me like this." "What? Ah." Only then did I realize what was happening. I was sharing my vision with the observer. "It looks like you can see me now." Yun was right in front of me. With the observer in his hand, he glared at me with dark eyes. "Answer me." "How did you find out?" I asked. The observer delivered my question to Yun, who scoffed. "Did you really think your cheap trick would work against me?" So what?" "What?" I tried to stay calm. "This might actually be better. Why don't we meet up right now? It's pretty clear we dislike each other." Now that I had access to my gifts and weapons, I was confident I could defeat Yun. Yun only laughed. Was he scared? Or was he mocking my boldness? "Fine, see you in 4 days." He nodded with satisfaction and announced the date. "And the location?" "I'll notify you through this bird when the time comes. I'll be keeping it with me until then." "Go ahead." "I will." Immediately, the observer's vision darkened and Yun's voice stopped. "All this right after I wake up." I swept my hair back and sighed. I hadn't expected my observer to get caught. Thankfully, I managed to play it cool. "Hajin see." I jumped 5 meters into the air. "Whoa!" Rachel threw her hands up in surprise too. After a moment of awkward silence, I let out a dry cough. When did you get here, Rachel C.?" It's nothing important. It's just that Hajin C." But we didn't get to talk. "Emergency! Emergency! This is Han! Several demons have infiltrated this place! We need help!" The crystal vibrated wildly, calling for backup. Rachel and I jumped through the watchtower window at the same time. The watchtower was 130 meters tall, but shrouded in magic power, we had nothing to fear. Kung! After landing, we darted forward, ignoring the soreness in our calves. 5 minutes later, we arrived at the location where Han had sent the backup request. The capital's underground sewer system. Surrounded by darkness and humidity, Kim Ho-rock and Han were fighting dozens of demons. "What happened here?" I asked. Kim Ho-rock answered, "We're not sure. We followed the trail of demonic energy and found them here." Kim Ho-rock had started addressing me more politely after our first meeting. I didn't know why. Apparently, he just felt like it. "They look fairly strong. Will 4 of us be enough?" Han muttered worriedly. He wiped sweat from his forehead and grabbed his gauntlet. "Well," I scanned the demons and tried to guess. "A total of 24 demons awaken your instinct. In the face of huge demon presences, all your variable stats have increased by 49%. Increased by 49%. I think we can pull it off. The situation wasn't as bad as it seems." At that moment, hearty laughter echoed through the sewer. Tap, tap. A demon who looked like a mummy stepped forward. "You make me laugh, human." He gathered demonic energy in his hand. The other demons did the same, gathering energy in their hands, mouths, and chests. Soon, stifling demonic energy filled the entire sewer. "You strive to work together to defeat us, but it's no use. You won't stand a chance against the Duke of Hell." He shot condensed demonic energy toward me. "Return to dust, human." Huh? The energy flew at me like a boomerang, and I easily caught it. Exorcism has been activated. The power of demonic energy has been reduced by 90%. The amount of reduction is affected by your luck. "I see you have a trick up your sleeve, human." Huh? Not really. Kill him." The demon leader shouted, and this time all the demons released their energy at once. The energy waves from 23 demons merged into one and flew straight at me. I held out my hand. Kwah! The explosion of demonic energy shook the earth. All the water in the sewer evaporated. The atmosphere heated up, and poisonous gas began to fill the air. The energy wrecked everything around it and swallowed me whole. Koo-ha-ha! The demon laughed again, but his laughter stopped midway.
It was only natural. Even after being struck by the enormous mass of demonic energy, I was standing still, completely unharmed. This... With a smile, I checked the system window. Exorcism has been activated. The power of demonic energy has been reduced by 95%. Doesn't hurt at all. An astounding 95%. What did you say, human? Well, it seems that, I said cheerfully, you won't be able to lay a finger on me. I was more suited to fighting demons than anyone else. Earth, Tower of Heroes. Rank 3 Vasago, rank 14 Lerage, rank 29 Astaroth, rank 62 Valak. So far we have identified these 4 devils.
An emergency meeting was taking place at the Tower of Heroes in Gwanghwamun, Korea. Demon realm transformation, which humans thought they had delayed, was spreading again due to the appearance of devils with incarnation bodies. Valak and Astaroth are the more aggressive of the 4. The organizer of today's meeting was Yi Gongmyung, who had brilliantly led the Orden Annihilation mission not long ago. Then, the audience included Henkis, the Lord of Steel, Che-Ju Chol, the Immortal, and the association's chairman Yi Yu-ko and Kim Su-ko. All 4 participants had great influence over the association. Does that mean the other 2 aren't aggressive? Vasago and Lerage aren't. Yi Gongmyung answered Henkis. I'm not sure whether they're building up power or simply not interested in fighting. I've only heard rumors about them. But we do know for certain that they're not involved in demon realm transformation currently. Rumors? Kim Su-ko asked with a frown. What kind of rumors? These are the rumors regarding the devils. Yi Gongmyung immediately pulled up a slide about the rumors, as if he had expected Kim Su-ko's question. Season 5 Gladiator of the Century Official Ranking. 1. Lai Zhengyi. 393 official matches, 391 wins and 2 draws. 2. Spam Machine. 584 official matches, 404 wins, 170 losses and 10 draws. 3. Gladiator of the Century? Kim Su-ko rubbed his temple in confusion. This user, who goes by the username Lai Zhengyi, is rumored to be Lerage. Oi, Yi Gongmyung, are you trying to be funny? Kim Su-ko raised his voice, but Yi Gongmyung remained calm. That was my initial reaction as well, but I contacted the capsule developers and investigated Lai Zhengyi's account, and the result... Yi Gongmyung changed the screen again. This time, it showed a record of all the games Lai Zhengyi had played and the time spent on each. Not just Gladiator of the Century, but also Grand Theft Auto, 3 Kingdoms, Become a Legend, and more. Lai Zhengyi had spent a total of 4,000 hours playing different games. An astounding 4,000 hours. Considering the account creation date, she's been playing games almost non-stop ever since. Huh. Kim Su-ko let out a dumbfounded laugh. Are you saying this devil is a game addict? Yes, at least according to the rumors. Yi Gongmyung nodded and changed the screen. While Lerage is busy playing games, Valak, the most aggressive of all, is... The video showed a part of the Sahara completely transformed into the demon realm. Monsters moved in an orderly fashion under Valak's command. As you can see, Valak is creating an army. So it seems. Kim Su-ko's expression stiffened. At that moment, Che-Ju Chol, who had been quiet, spoke. I heard there's a remarkable summon magician in England. His voice was as emotionless as always. Yes, that is correct. Yi Gongmyung answered, unfazed by the sudden change of subject. She's Lady Ah Hae-in's pupil. Kim Su-ko frowned. Ah Hae-in? Yes. However, because Lady Ah Hae-in was very secretive, I couldn't find out the details. Good. Let's not meddle with Ah Hae-in. Kim Su-ko let out a dry cough and lowered his head. The position of a 9-star magician was simply too great.
The association could probably handle one 9-star magician. What they really feared was opposition from other magicians who revered 9-star magicians. I understand, and this is my last report for the day. A strange phenomenon occurred last week at a beach in Vladivostok. The long meeting was finally coming to an end. Yi Gongmyung showed security footage from Vladivostok recorded 3 days ago. Please take a look. All 4 VIPs turned to the screen. The word strange suited the 5-second-long footage. What was that? I didn't get a clear look. Even Cheju Chol and Hankis, who had been sitting comfortably, leaned forward. Yi Gongmyung played the footage again. What happened was straightforward. A number of monsters appeared off the shore of Vladivostok. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept across the sea, and all the monsters were dead. That was all. Can't you play it more slowly? Hankis seemed perplexed. It was obvious this wind was not a natural phenomenon, but it moved so fast he couldn't identify its source. It's already been slowed down to the limit. The Russian government handled the remains. They said the bodies were cut by something sharp. Is this also the work of the devils? Hankis asked. Nothing is for certain, but I don't believe the devils were involved. And what's your reason? Yi Gongmyung nodded and continued. We examined the flow of magic power in Vladivostok and its vicinity, and discovered the pulsation of a certain type of magic power. We found this pulsation familiar. So? Kim Soo-ko interrupted, waving his hand impatiently. If it's not the devils, then what is it? Yi Gongmyung fell silent for the first time today. He looked at Kim Soo-ko, then Cheju Chol, then Hankis, then Yi Yuko. And I believe it's... He uttered a name that didn't belong to any devil. His declaration startled even the immortal. It's Orden.
Chapter 334. Ever since the rampant activities of demons 10 years ago, the position of the Republic's Anti-Demon Bureau rose to the top. Its mission was to purify the demonic, and its members took pride in subjugating demons and demonic monsters. Today, a rather troublesome guest visited them. Aaron, the famous knight and commander of Orenheim, wished to meet the Anti-Demon Bureau's deputy director, Serain. Serain agreed after much thought. One wrong step and the matter might have become an international issue, Aaron said as she walked through the Bureau's hallway with Serain. Issue? What do you mean? Serain tilted her head, pretending to be oblivious. Aaron's brows shot up sharply. I'm talking about the F-rank sharpshooter Kim Hajin. Kim Hajin? Serain blinked as if she was trying to remember the name. Kim Hajin. Who was that again? She mumbled in confusion, and Aaron bit her lip in response. He recently made headlines in the Republic's newspapers. Ah! Serain clapped her hands, keeping a straight face. She recalled seeing the headline, F-rank sharpshooter Kim Ha-jin. Although she did her best to suppress the news, she couldn't stop the rumors from spreading. I see what you mean now. Yes, so where is he? He should return to the army now that he's done with his mission. Who knows? I've seen his name in the news, but that's all I know. I heard it was a misreport. I mean, how could an F-rank sharpshooter decimate demonic monsters? Aaron glared at Serain, who scratched her cheek innocently. So you're saying you don't know? No, but I'm sure he went back to his home country. No, he didn't come... Aaron was troubled. She was certain that Kim Ha-jin safely escorted Ha-rin to the Republic, but she couldn't dig into the matter any deeper. If she did, the kingdom might find out she was the one who helped Ha-rin escape. Even Aaron was afraid of punishment from the Ehrenheim's tyrannical ruler. From what I hear, the Republic established a new institute called the Secret Service. With no other choice, Aaron changed the subject. She suspected Kim Ha-jin had something to do with the Secret Service, but there was nothing she could do to confirm it. I wouldn't say it's a new institute. We simply reinstated an old agency for the Transnational Peace Conference. The subject seemed to make Serain nervous.
Her voice trembled slightly. I see. The director's name was Hajin, right? Yes, we were lucky enough to pick up an excellent talent. We promoted him to the position of director to put a tight leash on him. Picked up, you say? Aaron stopped. Serene also halted and turned to face her. Are you sure he didn't walk in himself? Aaron wasn't looking to take Kim Hajin back. She simply wanted to meet with him and make sure he wouldn't tell anyone about his escort mission. After all, Aaron's position was at stake. Serene didn't answer. Instead, a condescending smirk escaped her lips. She found it funny that Aaron, known as the paragon of knights, lived in fear for her life in her own country. Well, maybe he did. Demon invasion! Demon invasion! Just as Serene was about to answer, an alert rang out from the speaker above their heads. Serene and Aaron both paused and looked at each other. 25 demons appeared in the northeast sewage system of the capital. 25 demons. The moment they heard this number, they put their conversation on hold and dashed out of the Anti-Demon Bureau. The other members followed. With magic power incorporated into their movements, the group moved like hawks and arrived at their destination in just 5 minutes. But when the 133-member group entered the sewage system, what greeted them was an entirely different sight than expected. Huh? Oh, you're finally here. 25 demons were tied up with ropes, and some members of the Secret Service were sitting on their backs. A bit late, but I guess it's fine. Serene immediately recognized Kim Hajin, Kim Horak, Yi Young Han, and Rachel. The members of the Anti-Demon Bureau stood with dazed expressions as Kim Hajin smiled leisurely and handed over the demons. Take them. Hearing Kim Hajin, one woman was shocked, speechless. She recognized his face, but she couldn't believe her eyes. After all, who would believe that an F-rank sharpshooter could decimate demonic monsters? We'll be taking our leave then. Aaron didn't know what to say. It seemed Kim Hajin hadn't noticed her as he left the sewage system with a relaxed smile. Transnational Peace Conference, Day 5. The Pride of the Republic. Director Hajin and his subordinates subjugate 25 demons. The Secret Service received special treatment for their recent achievements. All personnel affiliated with the group received commendations from the president and were guaranteed a hefty reward. Naturally, the agency's name became the talk of the city. The fact that they subjugated 25 demons was simply too amazing. Demons were well known for their incredible individual strength, and the united force of all demons was said to be powerful enough to topple any nation in a few days. In any case, I returned to the director's office after being congratulated by the Republic's citizens. Congrats! Boss came to visit me at the office. Well, she was intruding, technically speaking. Don't tease me. By the way, how did you get in? I couldn't sense you at all. Heh. Good. My ability has been improving recently. Boss strutted with her chest out proudly. Then she transformed into a shadow. Her body melted down, becoming a puddle of darkness on the ground. Her presence completely disappeared. Wow, that's impressive. Whoo! Boss laughed contentedly and transformed back. The way she shot up from her shadow was both amazing and a little creepy. So, what are you going to do next? Boss asked me. I was about to answer her, but suddenly thought of something funny and offered her my hand. Grab my hand. Hunt? Why? Just take it. Boss grabbed my hand hesitantly. Now close your eyes. Gulp. I could hear her swallowing hard. Boss closed her eyes. Then I shared our vision with observer number 2, which I dispatched not too long ago. The scenery from the heart of the capital appeared before our eyes. Although the sun had already set, the capital was bustling with foreign tourists and domestic visitors. The observer looked down from the city from the sky and spotted 3 people who stood out among the crowd. Ball's will probably descend on the 13th. It was Jin Sa-hook. She had a sweet chicken skewer in her hand. So we have 8 days then. Che Na-yoon was also there. Boss squeezed my hand when she spotted Che Na-yoon, Che Jin-yoon's sister and Che Ju-chul's granddaughter. Boss knew who she was.
Prepare yourself until then. Don't just eat like a pig. You're the one eating like a pig. Chae Na-yoon growled and reached forward to grab the skewer in Jin Sa-hook's hand. Jin Sa-hook easily blocked her, and Chae Na-yoon sighed with a frown.
Aren't you on that Bell guy's side anyway? Why don't you just convince him to stop Baal's descent? That's impossible. Jin Se-yuk shook her head resolutely. If left alone, Baal will tear Bel's body apart and descend on his own on the 14th. That's why Bel hastened the descent by a day, so that he can save himself through death. With that final line, Jin Se-yuk chewed on the skewer. I turned to Boss. Hear that? Bel will die soon. Boss squeezed my hand without replying. She no longer had hatred towards Bel. She realized she didn't need to, now that she knew Bel never killed Yi Yan-jun. In fact, she felt sorry. I see. Her belated mumbling was cold and bitter. Yeah, there wasn't much time left. Arenheim and Liorce's ending, Earth and this world's ending, and my own ending. There really wasn't much time. Until then. When that day came, what choices would I make? What choices should I make? I disconnected our vision with observer number 2. When I opened my eyes, I could see Boss's face. She still had her eyes closed, frowning from the observer's vision cutting off. Her beauty was hard to describe with words, but there was one thing I always thought whenever I saw her cute, clumsy side. I want to be with her for a lot longer. But at that moment, a voice flowed into my ears, as if to explicitly stop this train of thought. Come here tomorrow at 3 a.m. Yi Yan-jun was talking to me through observer number 1. He was summoning me to a secluded alleyway somewhere in the Republic. England, Chameleon Troop's sanctuary. When Pandemonium showed signs of being swallowed by Demon Realm transformation, members of the Chameleon Troop returned to their base in the underwater cave of the English Channel. The underwater sanctuary was clean and well kept thanks to Kim Ha-jin's modifications. Each member unpacked their belongings in their rooms and gathered in the lobby. Huh? Orden is alive? Are you positive? Chuck Jung-young asked with a scowl, sitting on Kim Ha-jin's handcrafted couch. Yep, that's what Drone said. Interesting, right? Jin Johan nodded as he took out a can of beer from the fridge. Chok Jung-young rubbed his chin and pondered. It was obvious what he was thinking about, and no one doubted that he was already shadowboxing Orden in his mind. Jin Johan took a sip of beer and changed the subject. So, what happened to the 9th floor? Oh, that? It's over. I personally took care of those calamities or whatever. Chok Jung-young answered with a grin. He clearly remembered his battles on the 9th floor. Legendary monsters from myths and legends became stepping stones for his growth, and he even got to spar with legends like Lancelot and Lu Bu. So, what are we going to do now? Find and kill Orden again? Chok Jung-young chuckled like an old man and spread his arms out. Lying so peacefully on the couch, he suddenly remembered all the devils that had appeared recently. Transcendent beings who supposedly descended to Earth using incarnation bodies. Chok Jung-young stared at the ceiling and murmured quietly, Oi, these devils, don't you think we can take care of them? Why? Do you want to fight them? Chok Jung-young raised his hand and stared at it. The toughest hand in the world. Chok Jung-young firmly believed in his own strength. No matter what devil I encounter, with it, he had defeated Lu Bu, crushed Dullahan, and beat up Behemoth. I think I'll be able to crush them. A confident smile bloomed on his face. Violet magic power blazed up around his hand. The more he saw it, the more mesmerized he was by his new strength. Ignore everything else and just focus on conquering the 9th floor. Just like always, what Kim Ha-jin told him turned out to be correct. While Chok Jung-young was intoxicated by his own strength, beep, 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 a loud siren went off in the sanctuary. To be exact, the sound came from the members' smartwatches. Whoa! Geez, that surprised me. Kaita and Setrin woke up from their sleep.
and Drone also came out of his room with Yi Yuri. "What happened, Jin Yohan? Chuk Jung-young?" Jin Yohan calmly looked down at his smartwatch. After about a minute, he raised his head and faced Chuk Jung-young. Chuk Jung-young was also looking back at him. Soon, a big smile emerged on his face. "What happened?" he asked with anticipation. Jin Yohan projected the emergency alert. "Emergency report. Rank 62 Devil Valak is marching north with his army. Emergency report. Rank 29 Devil Astaroth appears in Spain. Emergency report. Rank 14 Devil Laraj announces the creation of a Devil's Castle. Its location is the former headquarters of the game company Legol. Emergency report. Rank 3 Devil Basago."
Chapter 335. Rank 62 Devil, Valak. Rising from the desert, Valak's army swept through Central Asia into Europe, displaying overwhelming power. With parts of the land and ocean submerged by the demon realm, Europe lacked the strength to repel the Devil army. Disaster warnings were issued worldwide, and heroes of the association were dispatched to Europe. War had broken out between humanity and the devils. Rank 29 Devil, Astaroth. Astaroth erected a barrier in the middle of Madrid, Spain. With no way in or out, humanity had no idea what was happening inside. While Valak caused havoc in the east, Astaroth put Spain under complete lockdown. But Europe didn't even have time to complain about the injustice it faced. Rank 14 Devil, Larage. Larage, meanwhile, was far from Europe. She built a devil's castle using the headquarters of the game company Leol, located in California, USA. Larage's devil's castle acted as a portal to the demon realm, and demons and demonic monsters poured out like a tidal wave. But Larage didn't cause destruction like Valak and Astaroth. Instead, she offered a strange mission to humanity, or more precisely to the game company Leol. Larage's order confused Leol's CEO and developers, who were now trapped inside the Devil's Castle. Before their confusion could subside, Larage added another condition. "If the game you create can satisfy me, and if someone beats me in that game, I won't harm humanity." To their bewilderment, Leol had been handed the fate of America. "I swear on my name as a devil that I will keep this promise." Larage's oath made the entire Americas turn their eyes toward Leol. From that day, Leol's 5,300 employees began developing their game with the world's expectations on their shoulders. Larage gave them a deadline of 20 days. The time frame was laughably short, but Leol had coincidentally been in the middle of developing a game. Confident it would be the greatest game of the modern era, they poured even more effort into finishing it. Rank 3 Devil, Visago. Like Larage, Visago gave humanity a unique but less generous mission. He built a coliseum in Pandemonium and invited Earth's warriors. "Come, defeat me." His message was simple, but few were strong enough to challenge him. Displeased with the lack of response, Visago announced he would wait 10 more days. Humanity began to realize the gravity of the danger it faced. At that moment, a determined Master Rank hero visited the Hero Association. "I will challenge Visago." Jin Seon had originally planned to enter the Demon Realm Gate, but changed her mind on the day it opened after hearing that Chameleon Troop's Chuk Jung-young was wreaking havoc on the Tower of Wish's 9th floor. Jin Seon had too many things she wanted to discuss with the Chameleon Troop, who had changed her life completely. "You?" The association chairman, EU Ko, blinked in confusion. Jin Seon's sudden visit had clearly caught him off guard. "Yes." Jin Seon was determined, but EU Ko hesitated. She was too valuable to waste on Visago's Coliseum. The association planned to use disposable heroes to challenge Visago and buy time. "There's no need for you to." "It's fine. That man will be there too." "That man?" "Yes." Jin Seon had failed to track down Chuk Jung-young on the 9th floor, but she was sure he would challenge the Coliseum. Perhaps Black Lotus would be there as well. Chuck Jung-gyung, and perhaps Black Lotus. Hearing this, Iyuko sighed internally. He could see how determined Jin Se-on was. Knowing her connection to the chameleon troupe, there was not much he could say. I understand, but here's what I think. Iyuko took out a secret document from his drawer, hoping to dissuade Jin Se-on from challenging the Colosseum. What's this? You'll know when you read it, but I'll explain simply. There's a chance that Orden is alive. Orden? Jin Se-on immediately scanned the document. Meanwhile, Iyuko continued. The area around Vladivostok, Russia has been free of demonic monsters for some time. The surrounding regions have all undergone demon realm transformation and are filled with demons and demonic monsters. But Vladivostok is spotless. If you visit, you'll hear residents laughing and living peacefully. The document contained accounts from Vladivostok's residents. Apparently, a mysterious power had annihilated demons and demonic monsters in the area. No one knew what it was, but Lee Gong-myung, sensitive to magic power, deduced its identity through the pulsation and scent of magic. I want to entrust you with this task. It might be more important than the devils. Hynix and Cheju Chol have also agreed to participate. Jin Se-on put down the document after reading it thoroughly. Her expression didn't change, and Iyuko sighed. I will stop Visago. If 2 of the 9 stars are participating, my absence shouldn't make much difference. Why? In the end, Iyuko scrolled. Why are you so bent on pursuing the chameleon troupe? I told you before, the Kwangho incident. I'll take my leave. Jin Se-on stood up. She knew she was being rude, but had no intention of hearing a fabricated story about her past. If you leave now, you will regret it. Iyuko's expression stiffened. He tried to stop her, but knew he was powerless. I hope we meet again. Jin Se-on bowed and left without hesitation. That stubborn woman. Earth is on the brink of destruction, and all she cares about is some bygone past? Iyuko massaged his temples and turned on his smartwatch to report to Kim Suko. At 3 a.m., in the Republic of Liares, the moonlit field of grass was the perfect place for a youthful couple to meet. Unfortunately, the person waiting for me was Lee Yeon-jun. I quickly spotted him in the distance, and he stared back at me. Hey! He greeted me simply. Before responding, I reminded myself to get him to talk as much as possible. Level 8, unique skill, Clock Hand of Fate. Fate. You can select up to 8 targets to be your fate. For 3 minutes when fighting your fate, your variable stats and special stats increase by 300%, usable once every 120 hours. It was because of this unique skill. When I chose Jin Sa-hak as my first target, talking to her a few times was enough, but I had a huge problem choosing the second target. Condition to select the second target. Exchange at least 100 back and forths when talking to your target face to face. Did you hear me? Seeing my silence, Lee Yeon-jun spoke again. His monotone voice made me wonder if he was bored. Yeah, I heard a lot about you from boss. My name is Kim Hajin. What's your name? Lee Yeon-jun closed his mouth as if I'd said something I shouldn't have. Hello? He didn't react at all. Did he hear about my unique skill from Bell? Answer me. What's your name?
I considered reversing time and starting over, but the side effect of the 3-minute time reversal was too great. Even with the orb of regeneration, my movements would be severely restricted for at least 10 minutes. Yi Yanjin didn't seem like the type to wait that long. Jin Sayak told me what you're planning. Since he seemed uninterested in talking, I continued. This time I took a more direct approach and recited Yi Yanjin's plan. If Ball descends after Jin Sayak kills Bell, Ball will need a new incarnation body. Yi Yanjin was aiming to take that role. You're trying to become Ball's incarnation body. But Yi Yanjin remained silent. Hello? Shut your mouth. With those 3 words, Yi Yeon-jun released his magic power. Contrary to his disposition, his magic power was white. Quite a foul mouth, aren't you? I raised my gun loaded with bullets tipped with basilisk's venom. At the same time, I activated all the medicinal effects of my medicinal memory physique. It was then, Kong, a huge earthquake erupted, at least 8 on the Richter scale. With that as the signal, Yi Yunjin kicked off the ground, fully unleashing his magic power. Chua! Yi Yunjin's white magic power spread in all directions. The brilliant light eliminated all shadows in the area. I activated bullet time. Kick, kirik. I could see Yi Yunjin in slow motion. Magic power shot out of his body like tree branches. I'd heard from Jin Sayuk that Yi Yunjin could freely manipulate the temperature of magic power. His gift sounded simple, but I knew it had to be powerful given his status. I transformed the Desert Eagle into its shotgun form and aimed at him. The moment I pulled the trigger, the Desert Eagle spat out venomous buckshot like a dragon's breath. Kong! The ground suddenly rumbled. Jin Sayak's eyes shot open. Her mind turned cold. Her intuition told her the rumbling wasn't from a simple earthquake. What happened? Che Na-yun, who was sleeping on the couch, also woke up. Jin Sayak jumped down from the window, and Che Na-yun and Sin Jong-hak followed. Wait! Tell us what's happening! Where are you going? Jin Sayak ignored Che Na-yun and ran straight to the epicenter of the earthquake. The streets of the Republic were in chaos. Jumping from roof to roof, she rushed to Belle's mansion. Clang! She broke the window and entered the dark mansion. As she looked around the empty bedroom, a low-pitched sigh came from the corner. Jin Sayak turned and found Belle collapsed, hands on his stomach. Belle! She yelled, then paused in embarrassment. While he hesitated, Che Na-yun and Sin Jong-hak arrived. When Sin Jong-hak saw Belle, he furrowed his brows. Meanwhile, Che Na-yun blinked in confusion. What happened to you? It's nothing. Belle got up, drenched in cold sweat. It's just signaled to me. It wants to come out, even if it has to tear my body apart. Is it bad? Jin Sayak asked from a distance. Belle smiled bitterly and nodded. Yeah, I don't think I can last more than 2 days. If possible, I want you to kill me today. Belle fell to his knees. His back bent, shoulders trembling violently. As he desperately tried to endure the pain, he let out an otherworldly cry. Soon, Belle's right eye turned crimson and the left side of his body flickered with black demonic energy. But Belle forced Ball back. Ball screamed a few times before calming, and Belle collapsed from exhaustion. Jin Sayak walked up and knelt in front of him. You okay? She asked, worried. Belle smiled at her uncharacteristic concern and shook his head. No, I'm not. Can you kill me now? Jin Sayak didn't answer. She hesitated. She knew she could kill Belle, a complete extermination of the soul through reality manipulation. With it, she could save him. Huh? Wait. At that moment, Belle noticed Sin Jong-hak behind Jin Sayak. He grinned and gestured at him. You're here, Myung-chul's grandson. Sin Jong-hak didn't answer, uncomfortable hearing his grandfather's name from Belle. Are you ready to hear our story? This might be the last chance. Suddenly, Belle scowled from the monstrous pain. I don't see a reason I should hear you out. Sin Jong-hak expressed his discomfort. Belle smiled at Sin Jong-hak, enduring the demonic energy inside. A reason to hear me out, you say? Belle wanted to tell Sin Jong-hak about Sin Myung-chul. No, he had to. Belle's encounter with Sin Myung-chul wasn't a coincidence, but fate. This was something he promised Sin Myung-chul. The more I look at you, the more you resemble Myung-chul. Hearing this, Sin Jong-hak frowned. What are you blabbering about? Oh, nothing much. I'm just saying you two are alike, both in appearance and character.
character? Sin Jong-hak knew himself well enough to know that his character was nothing like Sin Young-chol's. Naturally, Bel's words sounded like an insult to his grandfather. I dare you to say that again! I'm talking about Sin Young-chol before he went back in time. Sin Jong-hak fell silent, clearly taking the bait. Bel chuckled at Sin Jong-hak's reaction and continued. The world Myung-chol originally lived in was very different from this one. Science and technology lagged behind modern developments, but they were advancing. There was no room for devils to interfere. But Myung-chol was anxious. I guess that's why he wanted to go back in time. Sin Jong-hak crashed his conqueror spear into the floor. A cold, chilling voice came from his mouth. Shut your mouth! Sin Young-chol asked me. What? Sin Jong-hak's face twisted. But to Bel, this side of Sin Jong-hak also resembled Sin Myung-chol. He asked me to tell his grandson the story of his life, so his grandson wouldn't make the same choice. Sin Jong-hak clenched his teeth, gripping his spear tighter. Seeing his aggressive stance, Jin Sayak and Che Na-yoon prepared to stop him if needed. Bel continued. Myung-chol made the first choice, Sin Myung-chol's first choice, going back in time. Because of it, Ball reached Earth. Most likely, you'll be the one to make the second choice. The second choice was still left. Sin Myung-chol had left his final will in his grandson's heart.
Because it was then. Rain entered through the broken window. Dense demonic energy blew in with the wind. The screams of civilians tore through the night. Demonic monsters had appeared with the earthquake. You might not know this, but Shin Myung-chol left everything to you. He knew his son didn't have the talent for it. Shin Jong-hak looked out the window. A pillar of golden lights shot up to the sky, and the cries of demonic monsters rang out. He could tell this was Kim Soo-ho's work. With that, Shin Jong-hak turned back to Bel. So, you feel like hearing me out now? Bel asked. Che Na-yoon, who had been quietly watching, murmured, whatever, and jumped out the window. She was being sensible, letting Shin Jong-hak make his decision alone. Of course, Jin Sayuk stayed, unconcerned with such things. He glared at Jin Sayuk and sighed.
Go ahead. He sat cross-legged on the floor, still holding his spear, as if ready to use it if Bel lied. Bel looked at Shin Jong-hak and recalled the day he met a man who looked just like him. The day he met the violent, arrogant man living in discontent. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.